I had to compose myself for a moment because this part's really hard to talk about. And another big reason why I'm making this video is because be careful drinking and choose not to. It's one of the biggest reasons. And also to be careful with the time we have to share the gospel with our family and other people. And I just wanted to end with my sister. What happened to my sister basically was she, like I said, died from an overdose of alcohol. I'm sure she never expected it, but it takes a lot to die from that. And like I said, everybody, my brothers especially, went in and they were moving her out of her house. And she was going to leave the apartment that she was living in. And she was going to move in with my mom and go to school. Times were getting really hard for her. She was working and she could barely make the bills, and she had 2 jobs too. So she started bringing on too much with the car payment and everything. And so she needed a break. And she didn't have any more roommates, which she actually liked, and she enjoyed it as long as she could. And she started to stop hanging out with that crowd of people who would drink. She started letting go of people. Anyways, what happened is I guess a friend came over, and still to this day I don't know who it was. She brought the alcohol to my sister. Because my mom remembers going over there and giving her Gatorade and giving her food and hanging out with her, and she really wanted to stay one more night in the whole... Like I said, it's really hard to talk about, but she wanted to be in that apartment one more night. And I guess her friend came over with it. And they drank, obviously. And her friend left as well. Makes you wonder if her friend was drinking and driving, or she wasn't drinking at all and just letting Amber just drink up a storm and not watching over her. That doesn't make me feel like she was a really good friend at all. At all. And to this day, I don't know who that was. And anyways, nobody heard from her for a couple of days, and she was supposed to leave. The manager actually called my mom, and my mom was really shocked, because he was waiting for the key. And my mom went over, and she was worried, and she was calling, and my stepdad Bill was like, Renee, don't worry, relax, I'm like, no, something's not right, My mom knew, and she even felt like the day before she should go over there. Before she went over. And she couldn't go inside because nobody would answer the door. She was banging on the windows when she went over to my sister's apartment, banging on the door. So she made sure the manager came over and opened it up. And wait, was it my manager that called my mom? No, I'm so sorry. The manager didn't call my mom. But the manager said later on that he was trying to call and trying to find out also what was going on with Amber. That's right. I'm sorry. It's really hard to talk about. But my manager found her. And then they called 911. And the cops came over. They did an investigation in the apartment. And I'm definitely going to go and start looking into really what would happen, because I could never gather myself to look at the paperwork. Because it takes a lot, I knew there was mushrooms growing in her apartment. Okay, guys, she was having fungal issues, and she wasn't feeling good. And so she had to have been sensitive. And they even took samples of it to see if that was half the reason, or most of the reason, or they don't know exactly why, and they can't give that answer yet. They probably had an idea, knowing, because they saw everything in there. And they found her in her bathroom, alone. So, I could just imagine how that was for my mom out there. She screamed, of course. The cops were really, really good to her. They let her scream, and so did the neighbors. They let it out. Be mad, it's okay. Because she's young. It sucks when young people die. I get mad I'm thinking about the cancer children that are dying and they're just loading them up with the chemicals and saying, no, this is cancer chemotherapy. But there's so much evidence now that it's not. It's so evil. Feed your kids right, you know. And that's pretty much what happened. You know, they did an investigation and it took a while for them to figure out exactly and to give us an answer. It took a while. And so they did that, and then anyways, it just keep going on because there's an end to this, guys, and a good end too, you know, and a sad end. But we found out it was alcohol, and it was just like it happened all over again. It took, you know, it really got to my family. I mean, Amber was really special to everybody. I mean, no matter who you are, you're special. You know, somebody, she was just so special. And I remember driving out there and trying to stay lighthearted. The drive was my Grandma Lori. And by the time, I'm just going to shoot straight to it, you know. We were in the church. And I remember standing up there to give, you know, a little bit. I was going to talk about Amber a little bit. I was going to talk about God. And I remember standing up and all those people that she was friends with that were worldly, you know, she loved her gay friends. I mean, she loved them. You know, there was nothing wrong with them. You know, they just needed Jesus. And I was really shocked because they were there too. Okay, guys, I looked up and most of these people probably would never walk into a church. And they were all just sitting out. And I remember standing up there and I'm just like, I was just, because they probably looked at me like, what happened? What's wrong with her? Because I was just like taken, you know. I'm like, this would have never happened. Leave it up to Amber. You guys are in church, you know, and it was kind of a lighthearted moment. It made them think. But you guys, everybody leaves a legacy somehow because those people needed to be reached. A lot of them would not step into a church, guys. And even one of her friends that she called one of her best friends moved to another state, but she drove all the way out there to be at this funeral into a church. I had to hear her family get up there and preach the gospel. So that was beautiful. It was hard, but it was beautiful. Let me just share that with you guys. God bless every single one of you. Go hug a loved one. Go tell them how much you love them today. Take care of yourselves. Eat right. And watch what's going on with the water, okay? God bless you all.